Hello, good morning. My name is Mohammad Asim. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to cover the tutorial how to install Docker and Docker Compose, right? On EC2 instance, we will be using operating system as Ubuntu Linux operating system, and we are going to install successfully using this official documentation of the docker.com docs, right? And we will install Docker, then we will install Docker Compose, right? This is a part of our Docker series also, which we have covered all the aspects like how to install Docker and what are the Docker containers, what's it, virtual machine, the architecture, how to write Docker file, what are the keywords used to write the Docker file. We have already covered the prospect of the different language Docker files, right? Python, JavaScript, Java, and we already discussed about the Docker volume, Docker port mapping, and the microservice architecture versus how the microservices work in the real-time scenario, how you can make your application microservices, right? That we already covered. Then now we are going with the installation of Docker and Docker Compose on EC2 instance, which we'll be covering for the lab purpose also, right? So now let's go and check. I don't have any instance which is up and running, so quickly I will click on the launch instance, right? So I'll be naming as Docker Compose just for the reference name. I'll be using Ubuntu operating system. Then I'll go with the 22.4 latest version, right? 04. And I'll be checking out T2 small because Docker requires minimum 1 CPU, right? The memory and the key, let's create one more key with the name of Docker Compose, right? Docker Compose key. Click on create button, so it will install in your download document. By our we are using for the practice purpose, so I'm keeping a VCP as default, but in the real time you can select your own VPC, customized VPC, which we are using in the organization. Subnet also you can specify. For current scenario we are making as a default. The security group for the current scenario I'll keep it as SSH open, and I will make it as 15. I'll be keeping 16 as a GB, right? So based on your required you can keep 8 also, fine. Then I'll be summarizing the all the selections, fine. I'll be using T2 small as a VM machine. Then I'm using firewall security default, and I'm adding one volume which is 16 GB over here. Then I'll quickly launch over here, so it will take few seconds. Our VM EC2 machine will be up and running, that is Ubuntu Linux operating system, right? So I'll click on this, so I should be able to see one IP address which I'm going to access now. So to access SSH, we are using mobile extreme client, right? Client tab. So I'll just take the public IP over here. So I'll hit on the session. So we are using mobile extreme as a client tab. I'll be pasting over here to specify Ubuntu. I have to specify this is a default username, right? Private key. I'll give the path of the private key. So this is the key which we have downloaded. Just hit enter. It will take few seconds. Our system will be up and running. The first step, what you have to do is sudo su, and you have to update the package, right? Sudo apt update -y. So let me just zoom so that you should be able to see clearly, right? These are the start. Actually they are giving monitoring start, which you can see my CPU consumption is 100 because I'm going with only T2 small, but in real time scenario it will be higher than T2x, 2x large, T3x, 2x large, C5 based on your use cases. Okay, so we already updated. Let's go for the official document. If you check it over here, there are the documents is already available. If I'm going with the Debian version, then I can follow this document to install with, if I'm going with the apt repository. But I already have document which is successfully done, so I'll be going and I'll be using the same way. Okay, so already I have used the command sudo apt update. Then I will upgrade the any existing packages which was required for the upgrade, right? So I'll be copying over here and I'll be pasting here, right? Hit enter. So it will update the packages. Okay, and let's explain till that. After that, what we are doing, we are taking the repository, okay, of the Docker repository. From there we are installing the certificates and the prerequisite from the Docker, right? After that we will after that we will install GPG keys, which is required. So I'll be copying this command which I have to execute after completion of this task. Okay. And about this document, don't worry, I'll be uploading in the GitHub, which I have the account over here. I have a one Docker Hero to series repository in the GitHub, which is open for the public. So here you'll be finding one new document, which will be called as installation document, right? Docker Compose installation, Docker and Docker Compose, which I'll be uploading. You can find from there. I'll provide the link in the description as well, right? So it's taking 99%. Okay, fine, this is done. So now what I will do it, I will take first command and I will install the certificates, right? Then afterwards I'll go over here, and the second thing is that I need the keys, right, for the Docker. So I'll copy and I'll paste it over here. I think I have not copied. Let me copy again. Okay, we already copied the keys over here. uh, Let me overwrite this all. I'll be copying again. Just maybe I have missed just the command. Hit enter. Fine, this is done. Then afterwards, what we required, the keys we already done, this is done. Okay, now we can install the Docker repository. We have followed these three commands, right? First we have installed the repository. Then we added Docker JPG keys, right? We ordered the repository running, installing the Docker repository. Fine. Now what we required to install the Docker. Now the prerequisite of the Docker we already completed. We just showing me the error. CE. Let me check Docker -v. There is no installation of Docker -v. No. Let me check it out again. What we have missed out. Does we added the keys over here? Yes, we have added the keys. Then afterwards we follow this command for the installation. Yes. And then I need to update these keys, right? So I'll be using sudo apt update to update the packages what we have installed just now, right? Then we will prompt to install Docker CLI and the plugins. It will install the Docker CLI and the dependency of the Docker, whatever the required is there, and it will install the Docker Compose plugin also. Okay, and we can verify using running one any image. From the image we can container, right? We can find with that, verify it. Okay, if I check Docker -v, I should be able to see there is a one version, which is Docker version, right? So we have completed that part. Okay, fine. So now what we will do it, we will check it out that are we able to pull any images or no. So we can use a Docker search Ubuntu, right? It should prompt me from the Docker hub. There is the images available, right? That is fine. So and what we can do, one more thing is that just we will run simple one Docker hello world container. Okay, so what happened, I don't have any image available here, right? So I locally could not find. It will fetch from the Docker hub and it will start and it will run the Docker container. Installation appear for working continually, fine. Okay, unable to find hello world latest locally, pulling the image, download a new image for that. Hello world is working fine. Okay, fine. So if I check it over here, you should be able to see one of the images, right? Docker images over here. So I have a Docker image, fine. So it's showing that everything is working fine. Okay, now the second step is that we require to install Docker Compose. Okay, if I check over here, Docker Compose -v, so it's showing that there is no Docker Compose installed, right? So what we can do it, we can quickly go and we can install the Docker container, Docker Compose, right? Usually why we require Docker Compose is Docker can manage multiple containers, is used to make your multiple containers to define, manage multiple container Docker application through a simple and declarative configuration files. Okay, Docker Compose can simply service network volume required for the application single YAML file. You can specify one single YAML file where you can specify network services and the volume. With the volume, you can specify all your application requirement. Okay. So if you go with this to install this, I required the plug the right. We will take this one command and we will follow that. So it will take all and it will install, right? After that, what we will do it, we will check does our installation got successful or no. So if I prompt over here, I should be able to see Docker Compose version is working fine, fit and fine, right? So now we already seen covered up how to install Docker and Docker Compose, right? So if we go with any application that can be customized or can be run using this one, so this is the document, this is the reference a tutorial where you can just follow and install your Docker and the Docker Compose on Ubuntu EC2 instance. Okay, so if I validate over here Docker V, right? So you're saying Docker Compose. Now what we will do it, we will exit as a Docker as a root user, right? In this case, we will be not able to find any working if you have any Docker images or everything, you will not be able to see, right? To fix this one, what you can do it, you can add multiple you can run the Docker as a non-user also, right? So in this case, what you have to do it, you have to add the Docker group, right? Simple, we will click add Docker group, is already exists. So after that, what I will do it, this Ubuntu is a current user, right? So my current user is Ubuntu. I will add this current user in the Docker group itself. Okay, after adding this, we can find anywhere from anywhere we can do it. So to apply the changes, I will use bin bash. Okay, and I can update also sudo docker, right? Sudo docker, I can update. Okay, it's already existed. So now from, well, what we will do it in the sense, just we will go and we'll type manually the command over here to add Ubuntu over there, right? So I will add over here. After that, the changes, I will restart Docker group. It will change the addresses, right? So now let me check Docker images. So yes, I need to restart the new group Docker after adding that. So if you check groups over here, you should be able to see, sorry, groups. Yes, Docker is added over here. This is how you can fix all the errors which you are coming up. Don't forget to share, subscribe.